If you didn't know, I like to create. It's the simple things in life I can't help but see differently, cinematically, as if it was shot in film. As a filmmaker, I love trying unique and different techniques to get the best results, and how I can make it match the story that I'm trying to tell. That is where the film look comes in. But I can't shoot in film, that's way too expensive and a very long, tricky process. Well, let me introduce Dehancer. Dehancer did reach out, they saw the channel, they wanted me to make an honest review, so I have complete control over what I say and they're not paying me to say anything. Although they did give me the software to try out. With that said, let's get into how we can create this film look. So, what is Dehancer? Well, it's a plugin designed to replicate film. This plugin serves as a color grading tool for DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro. They even have an iOS app as well. What it does, put simply, is it transforms your ordinary digital footage into real looking film. It has a ton, I think there's over 60 different real film stocks, like Kodak and Fujifilm for example, and it is insanely realistic. From film grain to halation, bloom, and film profiles, even print emulation, this plugin offers an array of exceptional tools. By using Dehancer, you can effortlessly recreate the distinctive look of 8, 16, 35, and of course 65mm films. These really just take my projects to the next level and give them that warm cinematic feel and the film aesthetic. Using Dehancer has literally upgraded my footage and my video projects to the next level. Without it, I don't know, man. My videos would look plain, they would look boring, and they would feel like they're missing something. So that's the real bonus of using Dehancer. It really just excels your footage and transforms it in a way that nothing else can. Okay, so I'm actually going to show you how I would go about using Dehancer in DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so I usually like to start out my grading process with a 4-step node tree workflow. I'm going to skip through that bit in this video, but if you want more information on that, there is a video tutorial linked below. It's not by me, but I would definitely recommend you check it out. Once you've applied Dehancer though, there's a ton of options. You can actually convert into Rec 709 straight in Dehancer, which is super handy. It's really easy to do that as well. I don't need to in this case, but if I did, that would be the perfect way to do it. So if we start with expand here, basically what it does is just a deeper fine tuning for your contrasts. It's just finding a balance, play around with it, find exactly what works for you, and then go off from there. Moving on to print, basically what this does is where you get the creative look. For this one, I think I ended up using the Kodak Glossy. Yeah, but it's really just getting that stylistic look. This is one of my favourite parts. It's super customizable as well. You can't really go wrong as it is stylistic choice. But yeah, just play around with it and see what feels best for your clip. And I love the presets that come with it as well. It's straight out of film. So with all these layers stacked up, it really does take the shape of film. Moving on to film grain, basically what it does is it overlays that imperfection that you see with a film camera. And basically it's far more advanced than anything I've used before. Moving on to halation, this is really sought after in the film industry, especially with old film cameras. It really gives that warm film tone that film camera would give you. Just play around with it. I tend to go with the custom option, but the presets here are incredible too. Just play around with it. They also have a mask mode as well, which is super helpful. It allows you to really focus on what you're trying to adjust in halation without anything distracting you. But just fine tune it and find exactly what you're looking for in the shot. Super customizable as well, like everything you would need to manipulate in this shot is right there. Halation is something that film really requires to give that warm film energy, so I'm super glad it's included in Dehancer Pro. Definitely a big bonus right there. So there's the mask mode. It really just allows you to focus on what's important and what's not. It also allows you to get the best look. So now moving on to bloom, this basically makes your soft images softer and gives that little glow that you'll see sometimes. There's a mask mode for this one as well, and there's also a ton of different presets. So now if we move on to film damage, this is basically to give that realistic imperfection that you do see in film shots. You don't want to use too much because it can actually overdo it and break the shot sometimes, I've found, but I think if you use it sparingly and smart, it's definitely a good thing to add to your shot. Okay, now moving on to overscan. This is a classic film type overscan that you would see. It's the animated film strips, basically. I use this in basically all of my projects, and it's built into this plugin, so it's much easier now. And it looks better too. It's super customizable as well. You can change the gate shape, the exposure of the actual film strip, and instead of it being an overlay that you downloaded and just put on top of your video, it's super customizable and it's right there. It gives that real effect. And finally, moving on to vignette. This basically allows you to focus on specific points of the frame. It allows you to give highlights to the most important parts and keep the less important parts out of focus or out of the spotlight. So with all those effects applied, here is a look at what we've created. This plugin is super effective. Here's a before and after of all of our grading, and Dehancer included. It really transforms your clip from just a plain, boring, flat digital shot to a real film aesthetic style. Here I'm just making a few more adjustments to the halation because I think I might have added a bit too much, but there it is, a true look at the before and after of how effective Dehancer can be if you really know how to use it. So that looks great, but if you want to use it on your phone, here's a quick look at the app. If you prefer to edit your videos on an iPhone or an iPad, Dehancer also has an iOS app which can provide the same incredible film-like results, and it's pretty much the same process too. Here's a before and after of basically me editing one of my pictures in the app. It's really simple. It's actually very, very easy to understand. Honestly, if you want to edit on the go, or you prefer to use your phone or an iPad, then that's really your best option, I think. So I want to encourage you right now to go out and shoot something, anything. Head over to Dehancer's website, there's a link below, and download the free trial. What have you got to lose? Play around with it, mess around with it, have some fun, and then after the free trial, if you think it's something you want to invest in, then use code SamHMoreCreative for 10% off. It helps me out a bit too. That's it from me today. I do hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.